it is encountered without exception. Not long after Representative Omar trivialized the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001, by describing that day of infamy as "some people did something." That's horrific. Some people did something. Yes, Mr. Speaker, some people did do something. Some people committed evil acts of terrorism and killed nearly 3,000 Americans. And in response, some thousands of our fellow citizens, myself included, enlisted in our armed forces to defend the gentlelady's right to make her prejudiced remarks. Many went off to combat and even died to defend that right.
Character matters when America speaks to the world. And when Representative Max Miller stood on the House floor and said, "How can someone not welcomed by one of our most important allies serve as an emissary of American foreign policy?" That was the moment everything changed. Buckle up hit like, subscribe to 50 Patriots. Grab a seat and get comfortable. Let's dive right back into it.
At this time, I would yield 6 minutes to Max Miller from the great state of Ohio.
The gentleman is recognized for 6 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentleman from Mississippi for yielding. Mr. Speaker, the House Committee on Foreign Affairs has broad jurisdiction over national security and foreign policy, peacekeeping and peace enforcement, international law, and the promotion of democracy, and many other critical issues that require its members to be both objective and credible. Members of the Committee on Foreign Affairs represent the United States abroad and are regarded as credible emissaries of American foreign policy. Their words have significant weight in guiding our relations with other countries and are relied upon by world leaders. Most importantly, our allies such as Israel, the forever home of the Jewish people. But what happens when a committee member is no longer viewed as a credible emissary of our foreign policy? What if a member is barred from visiting one of our allies because of their prejudiced comments? How can members who are unable to engage with our allies in a constructive manner be considered credible members of the committee? Well, the gentlelady's discriminatory comments disqualified her from traveling to Israel in 2019. Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, would not allow Representative Omar to enter, saying, "We respect all political parties in the United States equally. However, we will also respect ourselves. Whoever comes to impose boycotts on us and to deny the legitimacy of the State of Israel, we will not allow them entry." Yes, the gentlelady disqualified herself from entry into one of the most important countries allied with the United States. Over the past 75 years, Israel has been a steadfast ally of the United States. Israel has stood by us through the volatility in the Middle East, and this alliance has been critical to our own national security. How can someone not welcomed by one of our most important allies serve as an emissary of American foreign policy on the Foreign Affairs Committee? And given her biased comments against Israel and against the Jewish people, how can she serve as an objective decision maker on the committee? Let's take a look at some of the gentlelady's comments. In February of 2019, barely more than a month after becoming a member of this body, Representative Omar suggested that the Jewish people and the American Israel Public Affairs Committee were buying political support, writing on Twitter, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby," clearly amplifying an anti-Semitic stereotype about the Jewish people and money. In response, congressional Democratic leadership, her own party, immediately released a statement by saying, "Anti-Semitism must be called out, confronted, and condemned wherever it is encountered without exception." Not long after Representative Omar trivialized the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001, by describing that day of infamy as "some people did something." That's horrific. Some people did something. Yes, Mr. Speaker, some people did do something. Some people committed evil acts of terrorism and killed nearly 3,000 Americans. And in response, some thousands of our fellow citizens, myself included, enlisted in our armed forces to defend the gentlelady's right to make her prejudiced remarks. Many went off to combat and even died to defend that right. But they did not die fighting to have their bravery and love of country undermined by a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Mr. Speaker, I have no words to describe just how utterly unacceptable these comments are. But that's not all. In 2021, the gentlelady referred to Israel, which has the absolute right to defend itself against terrorism and attacks on its very existence, as an apartheid state. She even equated the United States and Israel, countries that have stood as beacons of democracy, to the Taliban and Hamas, organizations that impose terror on their regions in the world. Once again, even her Democrat colleagues swiftly condemned her comment. 12 Democrat members of this body released a statement which noted, equating the United States and Israel to Hamas and the Taliban is as offensive as it is misguided, ignoring the differences between democracies governed by the rule of law and contemptible organizations that engage in terrorism, at best discredits one intended argument and at worst reflects deep-seated prejudice from her own party. Some have decried this effort as a political game. Mr. Speaker, I assure you this is no political game. This resolution is not about engaging in a tit-for-tat with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. This is about keeping someone with a long record of anti-Semitic and anti-Israel bias off the Foreign Affairs Committee, which needs objective emissaries for our foreign policy. Even the Democrat former chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Eliot Engel, said that Representative Omar's anti-Semitic comments have no place in the Foreign Affairs Committee or the House of Representatives. That was in addition to the previously mentioned joint statement from 12 of the gentlelady's Democrat colleagues. The facts are clear. Representative Omar has espoused anti-Semitic and anti-Israel rhetoric time and again. She cannot be an objective contributor to the work of the committee, and she has brought dishonor to the House of Representatives. This body, this committee, which is viewed by nations around the world as speaking for Congress on matters of international importance and national security, should not have a seat for a member who would bring such dishonor to that committee. I encourage all of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support this resolution, to say with one voice that the United States House of Representatives does not condone hate, and to reaffirm we will always condemn anti-Semitism. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
Gentlemen,
Representative Max Miller took the House floor and laid out a blunt reality about the Foreign Affairs Committee. This committee isn't ceremonial. Its members represent the United States abroad. Their words shape alliances, influence world leaders, and signal American values to the world. And Miller argued that credibility is not optional. He zeroed in on Representative Ilhan Omar, pointing out that in 2019, she was barred from entering Israel, one of America's closest allies. Israel's prime minister made it clear that those who promote boycotts or deny the legitimacy of the Jewish state would not be allowed entry. Miller asked a simple but devastating question. How can someone rejected by a key ally act as a credible voice for U.S. foreign policy? Then he read Omar's own words into the congressional record. First, her infamous 2019 tweet claiming support for Israel was all about the Benjamins, a line condemned at the time even by Democratic leadership as invoking anti-Semitic stereotypes. Next came her description of the September 11 attacks as, "Some people did something." Miller reminded the chamber that nearly 3,000 Americans were murdered that day, and that countless Americans enlisted, fought, and died in response. He said minimizing that horror was utterly unacceptable, especially from a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Miller didn't stop there. He cited Omar's 2021 comments labeling Israel an apartheid state and equating the United States and Israel with Hamas and the Taliban. Even fellow Democrats publicly condemned those remarks, calling them offensive, misguided, and reflective of deep-seated prejudice. This, Miller said, is not about political games or partisan revenge. It's about standards. It's about whether someone with a repeated record of anti-Israel and anti-Semitic rhetoric can objectively serve on a committee tasked with national security and global diplomacy. He even quoted a former Democratic chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee who said Omar's comments had no place on the committee or in the House. The conclusion was unmistakable. Credibility matters. Words matter. And America cannot afford mixed signals when it comes to its allies. Miller ended with a call for unity, urging members of both parties to support the resolution and reaffirm that the House of Representatives does not condone hate in any form. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video. Subscribe to 50 Patriots. Share this with friends who follow political hearings. And see you in the next one.